good people of BookTube. This is BookTube, right? My name is Erin, and this is Waiting Moose, where I talk about books. And today, I want to talk about 2016. This is my 2016 in review, and today, I'm afraid it's about the bad and the ugly. Because there's some ugly. I hate to say it, but when you read a lot of books in a year, there's going to be things you don't like. Because there just is. Sometimes you read books at the wrong time, and it just happens. I didn't want to call this the worst books of 2016, but they probably could be called that. For me, these were the worst books I read in 2016. I'm going to give you a brief or not so brief reason for why I didn't like each of these books. Unlike my previous video, which was with the good books, the things that I'm happy I read in 2016, this is pretty much individual books. I don't do any series rants or series why I liked the book. If you hear noise this time, it's my dog. He's hanging out outside my door, and I'm hoping he doesn't come in because he'll screw up all my lighting, and then I'll have to stop and readjust things. So I'm going to start out with probably the worst book that I read in 2016, and we'll just get that out of the way because, yeah, it needs to be done. I read First Drop of Crimson, which is the first book in the Night Huntress world by Janine Frost. I've been reading the original Night Huntress series for quite a while, and I thought they were okay, but not great. I liked Cat, I liked Bones. I thought the series was decent for a vampire fantasy thing. I thought Cat was okay as a fairly strong female character, and yeah, you know what? Bones was pretty hot. Spade was pretty hot too. So when there was the Night Huntress world came out and she had a Spade romance, sign me up. Oh, I downloaded the audiobook. This book, it's the story of Spade and Denise. In the original series, Spade was awesome. I finished a couple iffy Night Huntress books and some short stories in the series, and I was like, ugh. I thought, you know what, Spade is going to save this sucker. I grabbed this, I downloaded it onto my phone, and I listened to it thinking that it would be what I needed to fall in love with the series again. I'll admit that Spade continued to be awesome. I liked Spade. Spade was good. Denise was not. Denise is pretty much everything I hate about weak female characters. She's an idiot. I have little patience for what I consider to be stupidity, and she demonstrated quite a bit of it. I don't like people who spend all of their time in their heads and make up all of this stuff to worry about. In a book that had plenty of external conflict, I think, to carry an entire book, we spent a lot of time in Denise's head while she made little shit up to worry about. And that provided most of the conflict in the book. And I didn't get it. Like, for me, rule number one is if the conflict can be resolved in a conversation or two or a phone call, it's not enough. You can't support a book on something that all I have to do is pick up the phone and go, hey, what's going on? And it's solved. That's not enough. We're just subjected to so much of Denise's insecurity and inability to communicate. And she's so inconsistent, and I hated her. I really did. If I hate her, as a reader, why is Spade with her? I'm like, why? Why, Spade? Come on, why? Why are you with her? Why? So then I started not liking Spade. Because, come on. You know, sorry about the paper. It's just, it's like when one of your friends is dating someone and you know you don't like that person. And you're just like, what do you see in them? That's what happened in this book. I'm going to take a quote actually directly from my Goodreads because it made me laugh when I read this and I didn't even remember writing it. I know, she's special. No, she isn't. And the most beautiful, special, amazing woman in the world would quickly lose all appeal once you met the neuroses that Denise is dragging around with her. Yeah, I think we get the idea. I did not like Denise. And then there was some additional cause for disappointment here just because Cat and Bones tend to be... Actually, I think Spade is a better character than Bones, but Cat is just a much stronger character than Denise, and if she can write Cat as this strong female character that can take care of herself, why did Denise have to be so weak and so crappy and just so angering for me. It's just, that's all I don't understand. I don't understand. My cat's about to jump in to say hello, so come on. There she is. Kitty cat. Okay. I believe I just said that too. Wow. Here comes the tail. The next book is on the list, and this is the one that I say it's me, it's not the book. I think it's me and not the book, but I'm not sure. You'll also start to notice a bit of a trend here with my rant, but the book is The Fate of Mercy Albin. I also listened to this. I think I've never read a lot of Gothic books, and I don't know if I'm the intended audience for this. Once again, I thought that this book hinged on the stupidity of the characters to create suspense and conflict. I don't like that. I just don't think that an intentionally stupid character is a strong character. You can have people that are not book smart. You can have people that aren't smart. They can still be strong characters. But in this case, these people seemed perfectly intelligent most of the time, yet they couldn't figure out some basic things. I don't want to give away spoilers. My Goodreads review when I went and read it is really spoilery, and I probably should have some warnings on it. You can check that out if you want a bit more information about it. I'm going to include the link to it down below. I just felt like this book did not require the entire length of a novel to solve the mystery, because it's pretty clear. It's artificially drawn out, and it tended to wow me with its ridiculousness. You're reading a book, but inside the book, they're reading a book. And they're actually reading the book in the book. So you're reading a book inside a book, and it was stupid. It was driving me nuts. Anyway, I gave it 1 star on Goodreads. If you want to know why, links down below. And it's interesting because my friends on Goodreads that have read it gave it 4 stars. 4, I gave it 1. That makes me think that the problem is actually with me and not the book. Not a fan. Sorry if you liked it. Just not for me. Next, I've got How to Tell Toledo from the Night Sky. Again, a quote from my Goodreads review. It's simply, my Goodreads entire review says, not for me. That's all it says. I didn't give any more information than that. I know I didn't finish it, and I probably should have known better, because when I read the synopsis of it, it describes destinies and fate, and that's just not really something that I go for overall, unless it comes with a huge side of suspense, and that did not. It came with a huge side of boredom. The Lost City of Z is the only nonfiction on this list, I think, I hope. I don't want to give too much away again, because I thought it was an okay book, but I gave it 2 stars. I thought there was a lot of boring build-up in this one, and it didn't give me the desired payoff in the end. The author had a bizarre obsession with the topic. That mystified me. I didn't understand it. And then there was it was a continual sort of start-stop style of writing as we switched between the author's investigation of the story and the story. There were sort of parallel stories in it, and it was really hard to get into as a reader, because just as I'd be like getting into it, like, okay, I'm settling into this perspective, whoop! Carpet's yanked out from under me again, and now I've gone to the other perspective, and I've got to settle back into that character and that story. And then, yeah, rugs yanked out from under you again, and I didn't like that writing style. I thought the story was interesting. Again, I don't want to give too much away, but I was very disappointed at the end. And it's a true story. I should have not been surprised by the ending. Cattail. The only Agatha Christie book I think I've ever given a low rating to is Elephants Can Remember. I read this one again in 2016. Not again. I read this one in 2016. I think this is the longest 224-page book ever written. It was disappointing because it's a Poirot book, and I love Poirot. I do. I think Poirot is just some of the best writing that Agatha Christie has done, even though she reputedly hated him as a character and hated writing him. And this book just, it didn't end. It was 224 pages, and I was just like, shut up and get to the point. It just dragged on, and that didn't work for me. So that was odd for me to give a low rating to Agatha Christie, but I did, and we'll move on. This is the way things go. Academ's Fury by Jim Butcher. This is the second in the Furies of Calderon series. I read the first one in like book form, and I think I'm getting rid of the second one. I had it in book form and I didn't read it because it's so long. So I thought, I'm going to save myself some time and I'm going to listen to this sucker. Put the headphones on. I've got all these long trips to and from work, and I'm gonna listen to this. I'm a fan of Jim Butcher. I'm a fan of the Dresden Files. I've read all of them. I'm planning to start rereading them this year. But oh my god, the Furies of Calderon in this series, I don't know if it's an earlier series for him or what the deal is, but he totally gets bogged down in the fight scenes. And he describes so much detail. So much detail. When you're reading the paper book, you can skim. I was like, you must like this because it's got all this detail in the fight scenes, but it sucks. And my husband says, no, I don't read those. I skim them. And I'm like, well, I couldn't skim them in the audiobook. And it was so awful. It was so awful. So anyway, when you're describing fight scenes, people, do not go into extremely detailed fight scenes because, no, we don't need that. We just don't. I was really unhappy with that. Again, huge fan of Jim Butcher, not that series. So I'm done with that series. Next up, this one is probably not going to make me popular on BookTube, but Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor? Or Liani Taylor? I think. I thought it started out really promising. I was listening to the book and I'm like, oh, we got some interesting characters. The story sounds like it's going a really great direction. And I wanted to know more. I wanted to get to know the characters better. I wanted the story to go on. But as the book went on and I got to know the characters better, I started to realize something. There wasn't a lot of substance there. Then insta-love happened. And insta-love is like a deal breaker for me. Sorry. Insta-love is just shit. Stop it. That's not how it works. I think that in this case, it's required because you had two characters that didn't have a lot beneath the surface. In order for an attraction to happen there, it had to be based on absolute, perfect, superhuman beauty. I felt like it was a cop-out. It allowed the story to happen without actually developing decent, good characters with depth. Insta-love sucks. I can't do it anymore. No, just stop. That's not how it works. We're gonna go on to the next, two books. So not the next book, but the one after that, I'm gonna talk about Insta-love again, and we're gonna see where this shit takes you. Winter at the Door was a thriller. This is by Sarah Graves, and it didn't do it for me as a thriller. And I'm going to give a caveat here in that I've read Sarah Graves' Cozy Mystery series, which is home renovation based. And I've read 2 books in that series, one of which I forgot reading and I bought a second time. And the second one that I read just recently and was not impressed with. I think maybe this just isn't an author for me. Maybe it's just not someone that I'm compatible with as an author. But I thought that parts of this book were extremely repetitive to the point where some of the phrasing was like repeated. I mean, it was the exact same phrasing. And I was sitting there going, why are you telling me this again? Why? Why are you saying this again? Characters in this one felt rushed and underdeveloped. And I don't know if that was because of her background in the cozy mystery genre, and then she got in over her head in the thriller, but I just felt like there was a lot of wasted potential in this book, and I didn't like it, and I won't be continuing with the series. Now, we get back to Insta-love. This book is The First Wife. It is a husband and wife thriller, psychological thriller. The female main character believes in love at first sight, and she needs to be swept off her feet. And so, when she meets a man on vacation and falls in love with him, she marries him on vacation. This is Insta-love, okay? So I want you to know that this is what happens when you believe in Insta-love and when you, marry some guy you've never met. You move back home with them to Louisiana even though you're from Nebraska, and you never go get your shit from Nebraska. You never quit your job. You never talk to your family again, but you move to Louisiana, and all of a sudden, your entire life is this small town and this guy who, turns out, everybody in town thinks he's a serial killer. Yeah, you and your Insta-love married the serial killer. Okay, that's not a spoiler, by the way. That's just me ranting. She moves to this town, she's married to this guy, and everyone in town thinks he's a serial killer. So, what happens? What does our main character do? She goes in between having sex with him and loving him because the sex is amazing. And then we go into her head and she's like, oh my god, I married a serial killer. Oh my god. And we get into that super whiny, she became this character that I just didn't want to talk to anymore or listen to anymore. Another character in the book is brutally murdered, but there's no development there that shows us a relationship between those two developing for her to care that he's been murdered. But she like cries for days after he's been murdered, and then she thinks her husband did it. But then she's madly in love with him because he washed the dishes or whatever. But then he takes his laptop with him to work, even though that's what he does. He uses his laptop for work. And that's highly suspicious. And so we go back into her head. And anyway, it was awful. It was so awful. I was like, I need a good thriller. I need a good thriller. That was not it. Anyway, it did improve toward the end. And I can't even say that I'm glad I finished it. So it improved toward the end, but it didn't improve enough for me to think that this book was worth it. At the end of the day, it was still a disappointing read. These books might make me never read books by those authors again, except Jim Butcher, because Jim Butcher is my guy. Yeah, that's the bad for me this year. Those are the books I hated or did not like. I don't know if I'd say hate. Some of them I hated. You can tell from the right, can't you? Anyway, I would love to know your thoughts. What books did you hate this year? What books did you read that you were just like, oh my god, no? Or what books did you love? Did you love any of these and think they were great? Thank you again for watching. Please subscribe if you like my videos and want to see more. I'm trying to do 2 to 3 videos a week. This past week, that didn't happen because life happened and work happened and I was sick and things just didn't happen. Even tonight, I'm filming like a bunch of videos tonight and I've got company this weekend, so I don't know when they're going to go up. So, oops. That is my year in review, 2016 in review. Hope you liked it. Have a great night. Bye.